All right, Dave, before we jump in and talk about episode 203 titled Amarillo of Better Call Saul, I figured we'd do some audience or some listener participation. You ready?
Sounds good to me.
All right, and this is from our Twitter handle at ISGM Podcast. It's just the easiest way to do it from kind of going forward. Twitter has actually become kind of handy. So, Zachary Wynn says, hey guys, you think Chris Kattan's ears are still ringing from last week's brutal diss of Corker Romano by Ken? I think Chris Kattan is just happy to be mentioned in something.
Yeah.
Where has he been?
Could not have said it better myself, Brian.
Yep. Senorito Sifret off Twitter says, greetings from Germany. So, hola, senor.
Guten Tag.
My German's a little rusty, but hola, amigo. Gracias a que escuchar nuestro podcast. Andy McHaffey, I think he subscribes to your idea that Kim is gonna die. He says Jimmy's relationship with Kim keeps him on the straight and narrow, sort of, until Kim's possible future death paves the way for Jimmy to make way for Saul. I don't know if I buy the whole Kim's gonna die thing.
Makes sense. I can see that being the traumatic experience that brings out the Saul at the end, the ultimate. But
yeah,
I do it more as a joke, man. I don't really think all these people are gonna die. Maybe Chuck will OD from his allergy to electromagnetic waves or something.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, no.
Gotcha.
Or yes.
I
don't know.
I think she'll somehow betray Jimmy, and then he'll kind of write her off, or it'll be like the last straw.
Really? Because I think he'll just push her away. I think she's going to get tired of it and split.
Gotcha. Well, we're going to have to wait and see.
Exactly.
HRH Mad Cat on Twitter says, greetings from Sydney. Chuck clearly has some sort of mental illness, but fuck that guy and the horse he rode in on.
Well, yeah, he's got a little bit of, is it hubris? Does he have hubris?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck Chuck, superiority, right? For sure.
Yeah. John Comas says, the podcast is absolutely fantastic. Thanks very much.
Oh, those are some pretty fantastic words.
Yeah.
Your review is fantastic.
Yeah, thank you so much. Vince, who has a winking smiley face as his Twitter handle. I don't know. Vince off of Twitter says, you guys are killing it with the guest. It's all great, man. Thanks, Vince.
Aw.
And my personal favorite, M.H. Duncan says, thanks for doing the podcast. Or this is to Mark Prokst, who plays Wormold on Better Call Saul, who was on our show last week. Mm-hmm. We talked with him. Who also, he talked about The Office and some other things on our other podcast, nothing important. But M.H. Duncan says, Mark, thanks for doing the podcast with It's All Good Men podcast. They're goofy, but fun to listen to. And that's probably about the best endorsement I think I could have got.
I love the goofy, but fun to listen to. Not goofy and fun to listen to. They're goofy, but they're fun to listen to.
And last but not least, Ben from Australia. Yes,
G'day,
Ben.
Mate.
Yes, Ben, we got your email. We've just been super-duper swamped lately, and we haven't forgotten about you. And Ben actually sent us another audio file, and we're going to do our best. Probably not on this episode, Ben, but soon we'll find a place to throw it in, even if your points have already been addressed in the show, all right? Because we do appreciate that kind of effort, right, Dave?
Hell yeah, we do. I'll try. I'll get it in this episode or not. You're listening to it. We'll find out.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, Dave, go ahead, roll the theme song.
It's all good, man. Hey, it's all good, man. It's all good, man. It's all good, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is It's All Good, Man, the Better Call Saul podcast. My name is Brian, and with me, as always, is my apprentice, Dave. Dave, how are you doing today, my friend?
The price of excellence is eternal vigilance.
Deep.
Yeah, I got that. I got that from somewhere recently.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I think it's this TV show that I watch.
Oh. Yeah, well, the Golden Girls was full of wisdom, Dave. All right. So, episode 3 of season 2, titled Amarillo. And as we open up, Waltz Across Texas is playing. And we see Cowboy Jimmy standing outside a Texas mural. And I think he looks rather dapper in his cowboy outfit.
Would that be like Ropin' Jimmy? Riding
Yeah,
Jimmy?
I was just going to say, I was just trying to think of an adjective we could use instead of slipping. And Rootin' Tootin' Jimmy, I think, is a pretty good one.
All right, yeah. Rootin' Tootin' Jimmy. Here we go.
Rootin' Tootin' Jimmy. So, bus from Sandpiper pulls up. It breaks down, and it turns out that Saul bribed the guy.
That's kind of a coincidence that the bus broke down and then the driver said, "You got 5 minutes." He knew it would be a 5-minute fix.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's looking for Mrs. Urbano, who responded to one of the flyers about their class action lawsuit. And I kind of like the scene. He kind of does a good song and dance and paints exactly what it is he's trying to do and trying to get them to do using the backdrop of...
He uses a restaurant allegory.
Yeah, like a little family house restaurant. Like all people love to go get coffee and muffins at a restaurant. And right. I love the correlation he drew with that to illustrate exactly what it was he was trying to do, and to try to sound more endearing to them and less slimy. So, pretty clever tactic.
Well, he has to incept them because he can't, as we find out later, that he can't solicit them. So he's just hey, there's this little story for you. And by the way, this same thing is happening to you.
Yeah, exactly. Old Rootin' Tootin' Jimmy hits the bullseye every time, my friend. You know what?
It's quick draw.
One thing.
Quick draw McGill.
Quick draw McGill. What I like about it, I was watching it with my wife, and we didn't catch it on the first playthrough, but she was like, where did he get all those clipboards? And I was like, yeah, you know what? Where the hell did he get all those clipboards? But then as I was walking in here to record and the AMC was doing the replay, it turns out he brought a bag full of clipboards. You can see it in the beginning.
Oh, very nice.
And then, of course, we have the opening, Dave, and the opening was what?
It was the cigarettes on the scale.
Just as you predicted / knew.
Yes.
So I think it's safe to say that if you're curious as to what the openings are going to be, you could just fire up Netflix and watch like the first minute of every episode. It'll only take you about maybe 20 minutes total to watch them all, and you could figure out what's coming up next week. But we will still address
spoiler alert: no intro.
No intro.
I believe in episode 4 of the first season there was no intro. It just kind of went into the show.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, then we're going to have to keep our eyes peeled and see if there is an intro or if there is not. That's a good call. So feel free to hit us up on Twitter and put in your predictions of whether or not there is going to be an intro. When it comes back, we're in the boardroom and they are talking about the client outreach. And it turns out that Jimmy has signed up 200 new clients last week, which is pretty damn impressive.
In fact, it's so impressive. Chuck kind of takes note, interrupts the next time and says, "Hey, we got to go back." And are you sure? He basically calling Jimmy out.
Yeah. Before we get into Chuck being a dick, I did notice that Howard had a look on his face like he was proud of Jimmy.
Right.
Like he was like, "Yeah, made the right call with this guy." So that's kind of nice, see some redemption there. Old Howie's coming around, because remember he was the dickhead for like the first 7 episodes of the first season, and now all of a sudden turns out he's not that bad of a guy.
Right, yeah. He's been expressing his faith in Jimmy quite a bit through the end of season 1 and early in season 2.
Yeah, but then, Chuck's being a dick. And he questions he almost sandbags Jimmy, and he starts questioning how he got so many clients from one flyer, claiming that Jimmy was doing some solicitation.
It's Chuck sees this as your classic 2 bird 1 stone scenario, I think. because he's covering his own ass. He wants to make sure that this isn't illegal because he distrusts Jimmy to the point where he's like, he's going to screw us. I got to make sure everything Jimmy does is right. So he has to call him out and still be superior dick about it.
See, that's a little bit deeper than I thought about it because, you know, I tend to think of things in a very simple way in life, Dave. And I was just like, man, that guy's just being an ass. Like he's just being a dick to be a dick. But I see where you're coming from. You know, he wants to cover his own ass too. And he even says that, Schweinhardt and Coakley will jump all over it if they think that there's any solicitation because that is some astronomically good numbers. And they asked Jimmy, they give Jimmy the chance to explain, and he pretty much says, you know, it's a rumor mill. Pretty much the whole gist of it, this is like these old people have nothing better to do than sit there and talk amongst themselves. And so they, you know, he explains it as, hey, you know, all the old people kind of knew about it before I got there. Well,
yeah, basically, good old sharpshooting McGill whips out the fastest tongue in the West.
Right.
Because that's what I took from it is he talked circles around Chuck, did the slipping Jimmy type of thing, so it shut Chuck up, and he had to swallow it, but he just knew he was being bullshitted. So then now Chuck is in a spot where he's just like, fuck you. Yeah.
I do like, and I do like the little smirk, like, you know, frankly, I'm surprised I didn't do better.
Right.
So then we kind of have a callback moment to last week's episode, and Jimmy tries to initiate footsie with Kim under the table, but she is not having it at all.
Nope.
And then that prompts Jimmy to try to prove that he's on the up and up, and you know he kind of interrupts Brian, who I remember because you know we share a name. Brian started his piece of the meeting, and Chuck interrupts, or Jimmy interrupts him to assure the boardroom that there be no more meet and greets, and he concedes that he can see Chuck's point that maybe it would look like solicitation, so he's going to have to find another tactic.
Yeah, he's going to have to back off a little bit and you know, try a different MO.
Right? Yeah, and Kim's fucking pissed. You know, and basically they have a heart to heart. She said he follows her up the stairs, you know, and she stomps out of the boardroom, heads up the stairs to her office. He follows her, and he's, you know, trying to explain himself, but not really giving away what he did. She just knows that there's more to it, and she just kind of lays it on the line, like, look, I put my neck out for you. I talked Howard into putting his neck out for you. Don't fuck this up for me. Don't fuck me over with your shenanigans.
And here we see a character flaw. Which is where Jimmy doesn't understand how his actions are reflecting upon Kim and Howard.
Yeah.
And how they stuck their neck out for him, and they're the ones that are on the limb. Not necessarily him. They have more at stake in the situation, and he doesn't really see that. She has to bring it out of him.
Right. He's just kind of like, I don't understand why these people aren't happy.
Yeah. He's like, what, are you giving me a handout? And she's like, oh, no, I'm not giving you a handout. I am putting my reputation on the line for you. Stop fucking it up.
Right. Yeah. And then we cut to Mike's house, and this was the scene that we talked about in preview with the prior, where you know, the preview for next week, Mike and his granddaughter are playing with the toy pig, whose name is Mr. Snuggles, by the way. He drops off $1,500. He asks if there's anything up, and this is where he learns that what's her name again?
Stacy, isn't it?
I think so.
I hope it is, 'cause that's what we're gonna say.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, right now her name is Stacy. Anyway, she thought she heard gunshots outside of her house. She initially brushed it off as fireworks, perhaps some mischievous juveniles in the neighborhood. But nope, the next night she heard it even closer and swears that it was bullets. And this makes Mike want to spend the night there, but she says no.
Nope.
But he doesn't look like he's really taking no for an answer.
No, he's a little concerned. By the way, this just proves that, yes, often incorrectly, we are way off on what this whole scene was about in the preview.
Yeah, well, that's the fun of preview with the priors, right? That's where we speculate about what's going to happen in the next episode.
Often incorrectly.
Often incorrectly, that's right. Now, this is where I had technical difficulties of my own coming into it. Like, I had some technical difficulties, and I jumped in at the part. I think I missed about a minute or so, but I jumped in when Slick Shooter McGill is talking to Davis of Davis and Maine, and they were talking about how like the client count has started going down over the last week since their last meeting, and they need more clients to join suit.
Well, that's weird because I coincidentally had the same problem. Must have been an issue with AMC, I guess.
Yeah, weird.
But I mean, but did it cut off during the Mike and Stacy scene? Where she said she heard the gun nights 2 nights in a row. There are 3 quick shots outside the house. That's all I remember anyway. That's all I wrote down.
No, I think for me it cut out just as it came back from commercial.
Yeah, me too.
But anyway,
so all we missed was they're talking about the client count going down and zero in Santa Fe. So then Jimmy starts to get ideas.
Right, and he gets the idea to run a commercial. That's what my notes say, but I don't remember how that came about.
Yeah, he just gets the idea to run a commercial. And he starts brainstorming. He's like, we can run it during Murder, She Wrote. He knows the schedule of all the people and where they're going to be, so he knows that the perfect time to run it is in the first act break, the first act cliffhanger of Murder, She Wrote at 3:15.
Yeah.
Because Murder, She Wrote brings all the blue hairs out like moths to a zapper. I love that little analogy. And
but they had a but it turns out they already had a TV commercial at one point for mesothelioma.
Right, yeah, because Clifford Maine had said they ran one commercial before and he'd be into doing it again. And so
right.
Yeah, so then they check out the other commercial that they did in the past. Hold on a second, I flip pages. And do you remember those old mesothelioma commercials?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. That was probably my favorite part of the episode was that throwback to the mesothelioma commercials.
Yeah,
they were all over the place back then.
All over the place. Yeah, absolutely. And Jimmy kind of watches the commercial and he's so completely unimpressed.
I love that because they're like, hey, look at the attention to detail. They totally picked like this swirl had to be like somewhat nebulous.
I knew that you would be all over that part as an audio engineer. I knew like as soon as he was like, yeah, they worked really hard on getting the swirl and it was nebulous and it was kind of nebulous and it was too nebulous, and then as soon as I heard that I was like, oh man, that has Dave written all over it.
Yeah, I was on that.
You could see the wheels start turning in Jimmy's head, and even ask whatever.
Where's the showmanship?
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah, he can do much better. So then we're back at the Alpine Shepherd Grandma's house.
Oh, I wrote they were in a motel. My bad.
No,
that's right, because she's coming down the stairs at the end. I'm retarded.
Yeah.
Anyway, the lawyer, Liz Lemon's lawyer from 30 Rock, is a dick in this show.
Is that who it is?
Yeah, he's like the teenage lawyer. We got to get him on the show because I want to ask him about something. Anyway.
Okay, well, we'll do our best. So anyway, we're at Alpine Shepherd Lady's house, and now are the 2 cameramen that he is with, are those the 2 cameramen that helped him film the billboard stunt in season 1?
Yes, those are the 2 same cameramen. They seem to be his go-to guys at this point because they're film students,
right.
And which is funny to me. I like the part where they're like, he's like, this is going to be broadcast all over a TV media market, and he's like, I don't care. Does it pay $100 each?
Like all he wants is $100,
right? Like he doesn't give a shit about the exposure, which in reality you should probably care more about the exposure than a crappy $100 payday. But
awesome, yeah, okay. So then he goes over exactly how he wants to film. Granny in a rocking chair. She's the camera pans in. She's clutching her shoulder and her shawl. There's no heat. They're what are these people doing to this nice old lady? Like really setting the tone for the kind of commercial that he wants, and setting a good foundation to explain the commercials that we know that he makes in Breaking Bad, like super sleazy appeal to. Yep. Whatever emotion, whether
it's definitely the start of that whole thing.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I actually for a minute there I thought we were going to get our first taste of Saul on camera, like like a.
I didn't see that. See, I'm so far. I'm all about the slow burn now. I don't expect anything to happen. It's all going to be step by step.
Yeah, I'm totally enjoying it though. For the record, I do like the slow burn. Absolutely.
I did have my first eye roll moment though.
Okay, I think I know what you're going to say, but go for it. Okay, what's that?
What do you think it is? Any idea?
Ready for my close-up, Mr. McGill?
It was ready for my close-up, Mr. McGill. That Sunset Boulevard reference that we all love so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that and I was just like, I don't know what I think about that, but I had a feeling you were probably harumphing.
It was a chuckled eye roll. How about that? I did chuckle a little bit, but
like it was cute.
Yeah.
It wasn't overly obnoxious. It was cute, I think, because it was an old lady that sold it. Like if it was like a 25 or like 35-year-old woman, then
it was the what do you call that? The chair down the stairs thing.
Yeah, the lift. Yeah,
it was the chair lift that did it. Because in the movie, I think she's descending the stairs and saying that. So
yeah. Well, we'll let them have it. We'll let them have that one. We won't shit on it too bad. It was a little cringy, but like it was cute.
Yeah, I'm sure that I'm sure a lot of people laughed pretty good at that joke.
Right. Yeah. Then we smash cut to Mike in the car eating his pimento sandwich, and he's on a stakeout. And this I found kind of interesting, right? Because
nice, by the way, nice with the pimento sandwich. Props to you.
Yeah. Thank you. I know this stuff every once in a while.
Call that recall.
Yeah. So, he's on a stakeout and he's trying to figure out exactly what's going on because there was it was reported to him that there was gunshots and such next to the house. And, we see a car approach in the distance. We hear some like dull thumps. Mike gets his gun. It's all very tense.
The music, Dave Porter gets that music cranking up a little bit.
Yeah, right on. Dave Porter. He was on our show a couple weeks ago. Look it up. And turns out it was just somebody delivering newspapers.
Just a goddamn paper boy.
Now, you know what's funny about that is before everybody shits on that and they think that's entirely unrealistic.
What, the car driving down the street throwing out papers?
Well, no, the sound of the newspapers making people think it's gunshots and such. That's actually happened not too long ago in California, where the LAPD shot up two ladies in a pickup truck who were delivering newspapers early in the morning.
Jesus.
Yeah, that just happened like recently within the last year. So it's not too far off the mark.
Well, I would imagine a stack of papers could make that sound, but not. So are we saying that is the sound that Stacy's been hearing?
Well, Mike even addresses that later in the episode, remember? Like he thinks, well, I mean, think about it. Like we've all pulled all-nighters, like, like late at night you go to the bathroom and what's the loudest noise in the world? Like your pee hitting the toilet, right? Like all of a sudden your pee sounds like 10 times louder than it does during the day. And usually, every step you take sounds like 10 times louder than it does during the day, right?
I usually just want to smack my face off the door because I trip over something in my room, but yeah.
You know what I mean? Early hours and late hours of the night, sound tends to travel farther and it's louder, because everything's shutting down. There's less ambient noise to filter it out. So I can see if you were groggy and in bed and you're already on edge because your husband died, and then, Mike is obviously up to something where he's just bringing weird envelopes of $1,500 to your house.
Right.
I can see how that'd make you nervous if you're laying in bed late at night and all you hear is a bunch of thump, thump, thump. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if it was rapid fire, I mean, they're not throwing papers out thump, thump, thump. This isn't Chris Griffin.
Well, it's not Chris Griffin. Well,
you like that? No, because it started blocks away. Okay, like she heard it off in the distance the night before.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because, so let's remember that point later as we get to that part of the episode. So that's a good point. That's a good point. So we're going to circle back on that in a minute. Okay.
Okay. Remember that.
Okay.
That's on you.
All right. So morning comes. We'll never talk about it again then. So, morning comes and Mike heads to work, which is nice. It's nice to see Mike actually arrive for work, but has not slept a wink.
And it's light out this time.
Yeah.
Swing shift back in action.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's not at work very long where he gets a call for his granddaughter. And, it's the whole classic, oh my God, what happened? Like, I'll be there in a minute. Like,
yeah,
that's one trope I could probably do without.
I
don't really.
I just realized something though. I missed the note, but I'm gonna circle. Speaking of circling back and forgetting, the reason I said the price of excellence is eternal vigilance is because that takes place with Chuck and Mike. Mike is being eternally vigilant.
Okay.
But it's costing him sleep. I was kind of trying to work that in there because he gets to work, then he immediately gets a phone call, then he goes looking for work, then he gets woken up like that night, right? So Mike's like on a really weird path right now.
Ah, gotcha. Totally. See, like everything comes full circle in these fucking shows.
Yeah, exactly.
So morning comes and Mike heads to work. He gets the call, does the whole, what happened? I'll be right there. And man, that's another one of those things. As much as I like the show, that's one thing that typically ruins movies and shows for me.
Right.
Is that trope.
The trope.
I
yes.
don't like, but I'll let it slide because I really like the show. But
yeah, that one flew over my head the whole because I was just like, okay, they're setting something up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he heads back to his granddaughter's house, and she's claiming that this chunk of concrete that's out of the wall was made from a bullet.
I thought that was a cactus.
No, she was pointing to the crack on the wall.
Oh, I thought that was a cactus.
There was a chunk of. No, it was like a blue part of the wall. Like there was a chunk out of it.
It was green and striped.
Poppycock.
Uh-oh. We're in a disagreement here.
Yeah. Okay. So whoever out there wants to correct us, go ahead and correct us. I'm trying to get the recording done right now, so I'm not going to go back and check. I say it was the corner of the garage, and Mike didn't believe it because it looked like it had already been a chunk out of the garage, because as I saw it, it was even a chunk that was already painted over. So how could it be like just happened from a bullet? Dave thinks it was a cactus. So feel free to either tell me if I'm correct or if Dave is wrong. Hit us up on. All right. So here's the best way to settle it, folks. You guys probably have a better memory than we do. We might be interpreting this wrong. I'll tell you what, whoever retweets this episode and in the tweet puts the correct answer as to whether or not it's a cactus or the side of their house, first person to do that, I will send you a Better Call Saul t-shirt. Now, it's a size large. I don't have any control over that because AMC was nice enough to send us a box of t-shirts. Right, Dave?
That is correct. And since
yes.
We are of the larger persuasion,
gentlemen,
we won't be
big
keeping
stature.
all of them and wearing them exclusively because we can't afford to buy new clothes.
Right. Exactly. So if you want a Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad t-shirt from AMC, retweet this episode with the answer, whether it's a cactus or it's the side of the building. First person to do that, I'll send you a DM. You send me your address and I'll send you a shirt. Everybody else, keep listening. I have a bunch of these shirts. I'll have all sorts of contests to win them.
And the shirt will be autographed by the loser of the bet, which will be Brian.
Yep. I'll sign it, sure. But then I just ruin the value of the shirt.
Well, that's what you get for wanting free shit from a crappy podcast.
Yeah. That's true. All right. So correct us, retweet it, get your shirt. All right, moving on.
Okay, before we go on, what I'm confused here. So Mike's staking out Stacy's house.
Right.
Then he goes to work.
Right.
She calls him and he goes to her house and says at 2:13 in the morning she heard 3 shots. One of them hit the tree or house, whatever we think it is. And
well, you thought it was a cactus. I think it's the house, yes.
Right. So then Mike's like, we got to get you out of the house. But if he was staking out the house at 2:13 in the morning, then he would have heard the shots. So was he not there at 2:13?
Okay, see, now that's a good point. It's kind of I think we touched on this earlier when I said we'll circle back to this. That was see, it was kind of ambiguous because why didn't he just say hello, I was here? None of that happened. But he didn't. He seems like contemplative.
He doesn't want her to know. He obviously doesn't want her to know he's staking out. Because that's
how you interpreted that?
Yeah, he's going to hide that from her because he offered. She said no, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's just doing it on the sly because the cost of excellence is eternal vigilance.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So when he says, we got to get you guys out of this house, do you think he's referring more for their sanity than their actual safety?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, very in-depth analysis there, Dave. That's
unless they explained it and I missed something because things.
No, that was pretty much it. Like he was saying, he was kind of acting like it was already there. She said no, she knows she heard gunshots. He just kind of looked around and thought about it for a second. He said, "I got to get you guys out of here." That's pretty much it.
Weird.
Yeah. So there's more to that than
meets the eye.
Meets the eyes. Yes.
Yeah. Transformers.
Very, very much so. Yeah. Transformers. Quite.
Yes.
Very transformative. Yes. All right. So then we head on to Jimmy's corporate apartment.
Jim and Kim.
Big bowl. Jim and Kim at Jimmy's corporate apartment. Big bowl of balls. Ha 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 ha. And Jimmy does have a nice big screen TV though.
Well, he's on a partner track.
Yeah. Lots of empty bases too. It's the law, remember. It's the law. But they're there to see the debut of Jimmy's big commercial. And of course, we see the old lady in the rocking chair and, fake tears with the Visine and everything. And Kim is actually pretty damn impressed.
She said it looks professional.
Exactly. Yeah. Look at those kids. They are gonna transfer to a 4-year university from their junior college any day now. And mostly it seemed like Kim was super happy that Jimmy appeared to have followed the rules.
Right. And supposedly had cleared it through Clifford, Maine. And then Jimmy's all I'm in charge. She thinks so. And then he doesn't stop her, and she's like, "No, this is my department. I'm in charge." Then you have that moment of where Jimmy's like,
"No, you are way ahead."
What?
You are way ahead.
No,
because there's a bunch that went on between that. But keep those thoughts, okay? So anyway, she seems impressed, happy that he followed the rules, And as the scene ends, Jimmy's it kind of focuses in on Jimmy's face. You can see his wheels turning. And then it shows him back at the office, and as he's working, he keeps staring at the tape on his desk.
No, you missed something.
No, because what you're talking about comes in later.
Mm-mm. It does when
he gets a call.
This comes in first. No, this is before he gets the call. This is right when Kim sees it, and she's like, "I can't believe Clifford Maine approved of it." And he's like, "Yeah," but he knows he didn't get the approval. Then you see the look on Jimmy's face where he's like, "This is my show. I don't need to call." That's why he went to the door later and turned around and went back, because he was thinking about the thing that Kim had said on the couch.
Oh, very nice. Well played. Okay, well then I stand corrected. So, okay, got it. Yeah, he was trying to get the balls to show it to the boss, but he didn't turn around. Okay, cool. That puts a lot of that in context.
Because this is the whole don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, nice. Good call. All right, cool. It's still not a cactus that got shot though, but that's good. That's a good pickup where
it's a tarantula.
Tarantula, Doug. So our buddy Joe DeRosa returns. The vet. He's back.
Well, we did skip.
And he offers.
Wait. Well, we didn't mention the fact that he does send the tape out after he turns around from the office. He goes back, says, "We got to get this off to UPS." To the station in San Jose. Santa Fe.
Yeah. Yeah, right. He goes, starts, exactly. Just like you said, asking for forgiveness instead of asking for permission. And he goes ahead and puts the order in for the airtime.
That's right.
Ballsy move.
There's no balls left in those bowls. He's using them all up.
Bolo. Yeah. Okay. All right, so now Joe DeRosa returns.
Welcome back, Joe DeRosa.
Welcome back, Joe DeRosa, as the vet, who, once again, we've had on our show. So you might want to check it out, www.itsallgoodman.com. And he gives Mike a bodyguard job for $200. But I had some technical difficulties in here as well, and I'm pretty sure he made a comment that if you want the big money clients, you kind of got to prove yourself.
Yeah,
right?
Basically what happened is he didn't want to do it. He said you could do other work. I think it was like to shut somebody up or to keep somebody quiet or something. And Mike's like, I'm not breaking any legs. I don't want to do that. And then he says, well, if you want next level pay, you got to do next level work.
Yeah.
And Mike contemplates it and he says, okay, we'll give you give me the bodyguard job.
Right. Because he now has new motivation to get his granddaughter and daughter-in-law out of their house.
Also, he's getting deeper into the local crime scene so he can try and figure out what the hell's going on.
Indeed.
Just like a cop.
Yep, just like a cop.
Mike the Onion.
But it was good to see.
Mike the Onion with many layers.
Indeed. Very Shrek. Very Shrek.
So then I thought it was funny. They cut to commercial, and there was
like real life commercial, right?
Actual commercial in the show. A commercial caught my eye, and it was a settlement funding commercial. Like if you're anticipating a settlement, you can get a cash advance on it, blah, blah, blah. And I just thought it was hilarious because eventually, if this class action suit or RICO case, it's going to come down to a settlement probably. So all these old people are going to be waiting for their settlement. So this will be an appropriate commercial to run in that situation.
So life was imitating art, pretty much.
In a way, yes. 15.
Yeah.
It would be 10 years after Saul supposed to have aired, but yes. Mesothelioma.
Awesome. Indeed. So we're back to Saul, Jimmy waiting for calls.
He's staying in his office next to the painting, and they're making sure they show the painting in the shot because what's about to happen is the result of his shady maneuver, the Slip and Jimmy part of the lawyer practice. It's foreshadowing a little bit,
Perfect. So then Saul is back to waiting for calls. It starts with a trickle, and then it floods every line.
Well, I like how he did the little abracadabra move. Like he's waiting for the influx, and he's like,
"Yeah,
okay, the commercial's done airing. This is it. A little abracadabra B." And then he does the disappointed, and then there's another trope where it's not going to happen. Here we go, and then it happens.
And then it happens.
Fucking with my emotions.
That's what they need, like the fanfare, like
like a Adam Sandler end of the movie orchestra swell.
Yeah, absolutely. and then it cuts back to Mike, who receives a call from the vet about a big money guy, and I started getting all super stoked about who the big money guy could possibly be, and I was like, okay, well, like maybe this is going to be some sort of a big reveal.
I was thinking Tuco or Nacho.
See, I was thinking Gus.
I was thinking that it was maybe Nacho setting him up to take him out. Specifically requested you late at night. Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's what I was thinking.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then we cut back to Jimmy and Kim, who are watching movies about the North Pole, and I noticed that he mentioned Ice Station Zebra, which, if you remember in Breaking Bad, that was one of Saul's fake companies, was who they made a check out to, was Ice Station Zebra.
I did not know that. That is awesome, because that moment is so influential in Jimmy's life that he remembered it, to make it a company about it later. So I like how they wrote that in there, reverse engineered it into his timeline.
And I don't remember. I'd have to go back and watch it again, but let's face it, I'm probably not going to. In Breaking Bad, when I believe it was something to the context of make the check out to Ice Station Zebra, and then they looked at him like, what the fuck does that mean? And he just kind of played it off like, it's just this thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Yeah, so Ice Station Zebra, Breaking Bad reference.
See, this is how why I think our dynamic is awesome, because you pick up on those things. Like the tangible things and the throwbacks and the references, and I get like the conceptual, deep pothead behind the meaning things.
Yeah. Well, that's why I get a box of t-shirts we can't fit into sent to me, Dave. That's why. That kind of thing right there. So yeah.
Okay, so anyway, Ice Station Zebra's playing.
People said, what does podcast do for you? I got 20 Breaking Bads and Better Call Saul t-shirts that I'll never fit into. What up?
Shit's priceless, bitches. Can't monetize
Your move, better cast Saul.
They probably have more listeners than we do.
Oh my God, easily. Yeah, the bald move guys, totally. But good guys. We talked to them about a year ago. Good guys.
Yeah, check it out on our other podcast, nothingimportant.com.
And so it's a late night. Okay. And then as they're sitting there having a nice, lovely moment together, kind of basking in the glory and getting ready to celebrate the success of the commercial, of course, Jimmy gets a call. And what's that guy's name? Cliff, right?
Clifford is a big red dog.
Yeah, Clifford. He is pissed, man, that Jimmy went behind his back.
That's right. He called him a goddamn arsonist.
Right. Yeah, it's going to burn the place down. And Jimmy tries to rationalize it by like, hey, we got so many clients in. And no, man, now Jimmy's on the burner. 8:00 a.m. meeting with the partners.
They want to see it.
Yeah. He plays it off well, though. Like, he does the whole like, oh, thanks, Cliff.
Right. Well, the other one's going, if you'd like to make a call, please hang up and try.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is then as he walks back into the room, Kim is all proud of him, and she refers to him as Golden Boy. And I'm pretty sure Golden Boy is a Breaking Bad reference too.
Okay, so I missed that and then I also missed he said something like, does so-and-so blow it up yet? Was what I caught.
Mm-hmm.
Because Jimmy's about to blow it up. See, parallel.
Yeah. Nice.
Golden Boy, wasn't that the Nintendo 64 game that I used to whoop your ass in back in college?
No, that's GoldenEye.
Oh, yeah. Proximity Mines in the Temple.
But I am pretty sure that that's a slight Breaking Bad reference. So feel free, folks, to hit us up on Twitter or on our website and let me know if I'm right or wrong. And then lastly, we finally see Mike. He's at the meeting with the big money client. Dave apparently already knew that it was Nacho. I thought it was going to be somebody infinitely cooler. Now that Nacho isn't cooler.
Hey, don't insult Michael Mando, who we also had on our podcast. You can check it out at itsallgoodman.com.
No, not that it isn't cool. I just thought it was going to be like a surprise.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I thought it was going to be like oh, this is it. Like this is where this character. Because then I was trying to think like who's older than Gus in the timeline, and then I started thinking like
Tio.
or like Hector, right? The guy in the wheelchair, Hector.
Yeah, Tio, same thing.
Yeah,
because Tio means uncle.
Is it the same guy?
It's his uncle.
Oh,
Tio. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said Tito.
Oh no, there's no
Tito.
I
was like I don't remember that guy.
We're just making up characters. It was Isabella.
Yeah, Isabella. No. So anyway, I thought it'd be some sort of big reveal and callback, and nope, it's Nacho.
No, they set you up. They set that up just so people would be expecting or anticipating a reveal. I didn't fall for it this time, my friends.
Yeah. They got us good. It's Nacho, and apparently he wants Mike to kill a guy.
He needs a guy.
We don't know who that is
to go away.
Yeah. And we don't know who that is, do we, Dave?
No, I'll bet it's going to be some sort of Breaking Bad reference or something.
Maybe it'll be Ken. All right. So, Dave, overall, what did you think of episode 3 of season 2?
A lot happened.
Yeah. You know what the funny thing about the pacing of this episode? At one point, I remember it felt like it was on forever. And I looked at the clock and I'm like, oh, it's only halfway done. And then I blinked and all of a sudden the show was over.
Yeah,
so I don't know if it picked up in pace on the second.
Yeah, like I have so many more notes from the first half. It was more setting things up and like getting into details about things, longer, more detailed scenes, heavier scenes, I guess.
Yeah, good show though. But very, very.
The goddamn cliffhangers, man. I want to see what happens with the partner meeting. I want to see what happens with Mike and the guy he needs to take out. I want to see the cactus get chopped down.
Absolutely. Well, lots to look forward to in episode 4 and beyond. It is a 10-episode season, so we're not even halfway through, so there's still a good amount to go. Make sure to check us out at itsallgoodman.com. Remember that second S, ITSSAULGOODMAN.com, if I spelt that correctly. Make sure to hit us up on Twitter at ISGM Podcast. Just hit us up on Twitter and go to our webpage, all that good stuff. Make sure to check us out on the Nothing Important podcast. And if listening from earlier, hit us up on Twitter with the answers to our question. Win yourself a t-shirt. Was it a cactus or was it the side of the building? All right, folks, well, let us know what you think. Of course, we love your participation. We love that you're listening to us. Please make sure that you spread the word. Make sure that you check out the Nothing Important podcast. We got some other guests coming up this week, a bunch of really cool dudes. Man, I want to say who they are, but I can't, because what's going to happen is the minute I say it, and then they'll cancel.
Right.
Or flake on the recording, and then I said that they were going to be on, and then come Saturday when we upload Nothing Important, they're not going to be on. So just trust us, some kick-ass people. If we record,
can I say? I want to give one hint.
Okay, go ahead.
We have a tentative confirmation from somebody that's actually been on The Simpsons, because that is the coolest thing about it.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Sounds great. All right, I'm loving it, but mostly, more than anything, thank you for listening. Thank you for participating, and we'll see you next week. Dave?
Call us idiots, call us geniuses, whatever. Just call us.
It's all good, man. Hey, it's all good, man. It's all